How do you get more juice out of Pettersson?
Well, it really, honestly, it's the best thing I heard today. He came up to me, we did a video today. He said to me, "Talk, I got to move my feet." So I told him, I don't care what you say after that. Just do that. He knows how to play the game. He knows how to play defense. He knows our system. That was music to my ears. He said it. I didn't have to tell him.
Are there better positions his teammates can get him into, or his line mates get him into, to allow him to be more productive, to allow him to do all those things that make him special?
Sure, but I don't care. If you don't move your feet, I don't care if you're playing with Wayne Gretzky or Mario Lemieux. You got to move your feet.
Just to follow up on that, the Besser chance late in Game 5 comes off of some pressure that Pettersson put on Lauzon. When you're talking about him moving his feet, is that, in your mind's eye, what you need and the sort of opportunity that can result?
Yeah, that's one of them. Moving your feet in the neutral zone, like demanding the puck. Round it, give me the puck. Not, I call it water skiing, just kind of say, or even they're really good at, they send three at you. If they're on the wrong side, and we've caught them. We caught them on an overtime goal because they overplayed. We've caught them a couple of times. The 6-on-5s, I thought we caught them on. Obviously, we had the extra guy. But there are times when you got them on your back and you got the right side of it, you should get out of that right side and take that ice. There's no reason to not move your feet, because if you don't move your feet, they got you. So that's the stuff I'm talking about.
Rick, daily update on your goaltender?
I'm not allowed to say, remember? Yeah, where's the trick? You got to come up with a trick question now.
Well, no, I just didn't want to ask last time after you wouldn't confirm your starter if you'd confirm your backup. That felt like a jerk question. But just where are you at in making that decision? Because I'm sure you'll make it if you haven't already at some point this evening.
Well, practice, same protocol. I talked to a few people. Obviously, Clarkey, I rely on Clarkey a lot. Ultimately, it's my decision. I'm not putting on Clarkey, but I do value his opinion a lot. He's excellent at what he does.
So you haven't made the decision yet. You'll figure it out tonight?
This afternoon.
And a lot of power play work today.
Yeah.
Seemed like you were pretty encouraging, even when things were sort of breaking down on the end zone work and then obviously the entry work. What do you want to see? What was your focus today?
Well, we had to do some entries. Obviously, the entries were, as Millsy said, awful. And it really just takes one or two broken plays or players to, I'm not picking on anybody, to really put a wrench in it, I think. So I think for us is the execution. But after that, I really like Petey today. He was very decisive with the puck. He scored a couple. I know it's practice, but he scored a couple. He made a couple of good plays because he was decisive. So that's a good sign for us.
Rick, you told us after Game 4 when we asked about Casey.
Yeah.
And sort of this idea of being precautionary with him. And you said something like, to paraphrase, Casey's been with us all year, and if he's ready to go and we feel safe putting him in, we would go back to Casey. Yeah. Has anything changed on that mindset? Is this strictly a decision about well-being and health, or is there a performance aspect to this where maybe you prefer Silovs?
Percentage, health-wise, what's the percentage? Practice, how many times he's practiced is a big thing. Are you tentative or not on a post-to-post save? Things like that come into play. Every player wants to play, and that's a good thing. So that's really what it comes down to.
Do you feel that you owe him anything? I know that's a dangerous term, I take it back right now if I could. But do you feel like out of loyalty, or because he's been part of the journey all season to this point, and he had a very good game before he came out?
Like any player, you always, Casey's one of the best guys you'll ever coach, unreal guy in the room. But, I make my decisions on the crest. It's a team thing. Whatever it takes. And Casey, when we need him, has been there for us, and no different than if he's in tomorrow or whatever. Game 7 or the next round, who knows? I don't know yet. But at this point, you make decisions on, the game tomorrow.
And I know that Game 2, where you had, whatever it was, 84 attempts and only 18 on net, and strategy kind of changed then, and we're seeing more shots to sticks. shots from angles, looking for tips and stuff. Do you feel like that mindset has gone too far
Yeah.
with some players?
Yeah.
And you'd like some direct shots on net?
Yeah, I do. I agree. It's hard because, you can't have in football, you can have a guy and you're, okay, ready, shoot it. Like, sometimes guys have to organically see it. You give players a concept, but then they got to act in the moment, right? You see a McDonough coming out, he's taking more of the weak side. I'm not sure you want to do a shot pass there. Now's the time to let it rip. Things like that. Or if they really sink, that usually that F3 on the other side's open. Like, you know what I mean? I think that organically happens, but the concept is if they're coming out blocking shots, you need a second stick. Dallas, Vegas, they're one of the best teams at that, of hitting that second stick around the net. That's why when we play those teams, you always say, you got to, make sure we box out, not just the front guy, but whether it's the side of that or the F3 guy. So, to long-winded answer, yeah, I think we've gone overboard on that. Yes.
In a series with this few shots, like this low event between both teams, it seems like every game has come down to whether it's a bounce or a finish that's either made or not converted, right?
Sure.
Is there a mental challenge that comes with understanding sort of the stakes of sort of every single moment from a player's perspective?
I love that in the fact that every play does matter, especially now because, it's not like a lot of teams we're getting both teams aren't getting a ton of chances. So a box out per se, if you miss a box out, which we missed, on that goal, that's the difference in the game. So I think every play is really valued even more because we're not getting a lot of offense. But I still think we can get more shots and more offense if we do some of the stuff that we're talking about.
Andrew Burnett alluded to the Predators sort of battling an illness. Obviously, Luke Shen missed Game 5 with illness. You had Tyler Myers miss Game 2 with illness. Have you guys been coping with whether it's a flu bug or something over the course of the series as well?
No, not too bad. Earlier on, near the end of the season, it kind of hit a couple of guys, but no. We've been like a couple of staff guys, but no. Thank God it's been out of the dressing room.
And just one last one from me. One thing that's sort of unique about the series is that aside from some blue line injuries and obviously your injuries in net, both you and Burnett have seemed to stick with a pretty set lineup throughout. There hasn't been sort of a big move and counter move at any point during the series. From your perspective anyway, what is it about sort of the flow of this series that you've liked that sort of caused you to stick with what you've been doing?
Well, I just feel that if we execute, and we have some matchups, so I think, if we stick with it, we can, we might be able to expose them. That's just my opinion. But that doesn't mean I can't shuffle the deck every once in a while in game. I think a guy like Hogline, I think he's played better. I think he's come those last two games. Like, I think he's starting to realize, playoff hockey, inexperience. But I can feel he was better last game. So I just don't want to start being drastic and moving people around. We're not giving them much either. That's the one thing. It's not like they're getting a ton of chances. So if we just take care of our end, maybe get a little more offensive in the sense of even being more creative. Like once you move your feet, there's some plays there. Be creative, give and goes, maybe hit the back door, things like that. But I think when you don't move your feet or you're so programmed, we can't give up, can't give any chances away, then you don't move your feet and you just play the safe route. I'll just chip it instead of handling the puck. So, that's what I think.
You guys talked all season long about staying in the moment, your earn your day mantra.
Yeah.
Does that become even more important now? I mean, I'm sure people were disappointed about Game 5, but if somebody had told you before the series, hey, you can clinch it in Game 6 in Nashville, you'd have taken that in a second. So how important is that mindset to embrace it and try to compartmentalize and not think about why you're here for Game 6?
Yeah, that's a huge mindset. I think that's really what we're all about. I mean, we're one game from going the second round. We've had a pretty damn good year, and we're not finished, and we got a chance to win tomorrow. So I don't think the mindset when you're on the plane, oh my God, we got to go 4-hour flight and all that stuff after the game. I thought guys were kind of pissed that we lost, but I think the next day you could see that guys coming on the plane were really excited. So that's what I have to see, not like, oh my God, you know, what happens if we lose, or, you know, what's going to happen here, what's going to happen there. What, you know, I think the guys have been pretty focused just on this game, their first period. I really do.
What did you think of JT's practice jersey at the start?
Yeah, I know. Well, that's good. Loose the guys. I think it was Artie's. I think that's Artie's. Is that his golf shirt or something? What is that?
Yeah, I think it was his dress shirt.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah. Yeah.
Just JT being JT to ease the tension?
Yeah, I think it's important. Z's a big guy. Like, I love Zadorov and even Millsy. They chirp. Like, sometimes our room can be a little quiet, but you hear those guys. Garland's another comedian in there. I actually caught him. He was ripping me behind my back. I caught him going in there, so, and a good thing. So the guy's been busting his balls. But, no, I think that's a big thing because it's a high pressure. This is high pressure. And you have to stay loose. Even on the bench, you know, you got to make sure that you stay loose because, you know, last thing you need is a tight bench.
Wouldn't cooperate as he went.
Generational talent. Thanks for liking the video and subscribing.